Welcome back. We are here for the Between Dancing on Strings, episode 19. From last we ended. The hunters have resolved the spider silk seamstress, and we are owed masks. We are owed the mummer's mask. And we also have Val, whose player will be coming late, but they owe a mask from the future. So let me just read off the um, mummer's mask prompt, and then whomever wants to get started can do so. Mummer's mask. Each hunter narrates a time when they put on a disguise for an innocent reason. So whomever wants to start.
I'm ready to go, I think. Yeah, the scene opens in darkness. It's the small hours of the morning, and we can just barely make out a small form slowly, carefully creeping its way among the dark outlines of simple tents. The moon peeks out from behind a cloud to reveal that this lurker we've been following is just a young boy, younger than we last saw him even. But the shiny black hair and alabaster skin and bright flashing eyes make clear that this is Treasure. He freezes in place, waiting for the shifting clouds to once again veil the moonlight. And in the renewed darkness, he slips lithe and silently into one particular tent. Minutes pass, and we see him emerge, hoisting a bulky bundle in his arms and carefully retracing his steps back to his own tiny lean-to. As the dawn breaks, many of the tribesmen and women are beginning to stir and collect themselves, and they set about their day's toil. And into the midst of things bursts a tiny ball of energy on slender legs. We can see Treasure. His head and face are completely enveloped by a dark wolf skin with two spindly antlers bursting upward. And around his neck, just barely clinging to the furthest edges of his shoulders, is the skeletal jaw of a great beast with saber-like teeth arching upward higher than even his head. And he kind of totters from side to side, almost tipping over as he plays out this madcap pantomime. He's wagging his finger to spur a man off to gather wood. He bends low, almost tumbling over to carefully inspect reeds that are being woven together and offer a young lady some correction. Jumping up and down, he remonstrates the laziness of a man who's been slow to wake. And as the display becomes ever more ludicrous and outrageous, the tribe's folk gather in greater numbers, and they're chuckling and clasping arms around shoulders and pointing in delight. And their laughter builds into great booming guffaws, all of which just serve to spur Treasure on to more inane gestures and poses and speeches. But then in a flash, everyone goes silent. And we can see Treasure, little arms pointing akimbo, caught in the middle of some ridiculous oratory, and two wizened, weather-beaten hands reach downward to hoist the wolfskin and antlers and jawbone off of Treasure's head, and then cuff him playfully across the ear. And we can see the boy, he effects a pratfall, splaying across the ground, and everyone bursts into redoubled laughter, and the scene fades away into memory.
There aren't a lot of costumes at the orphanage that Daymond Gray grew up in. Most of them are animal masks for when the children put on small plays. But there's one outfit that wouldn't quite be considered a costume. And that would be the collars of the fathers and the hoods of the sisters. They aren't locked away, just placed in a closet, taken in with the washing. The children know where they are. They're not difficult to come by. But it's in one of these few rare moments of whimsy that Daymond takes one. A collar, placing it around his neck. It doesn't have the button-down shirt to hold it in place. It is quite literally just a white piece of fabric wrapped around the neck, but everyone at the orphanage can see. He holds a book. It isn't a Bible as he goes around to each of the children, asking each to confess their sins. And most of the sins are simple things that you'd expect from children. A second helping of dessert, forgetting to say a prayer. But as he gets to the boys that punished him for being different, their sins turn just a little bit darker. They don't confess to the beatings of Daymond Grey. That would be far too simple in an open group. But one simply mentions that he stole wine and that it's still hidden under the bed. Rather than forcing him to say a prayer like the others, or to apologize to the children who didn't get dessert, he pulls out the bottle of Daymond goes to the bed under it and pulls out the bottle of wine and pours a cup for each and every child to share.
We see Marybelle quite exactly as she is now. She doesn't age or change, so she doesn't look very much different. It's hard to tell how long ago this was. But it is the time between when she came to be and the time she arrived at Hargrave House. She is a little dirty, smudged on her face. And she is quietly hiding in some bushes, watching a group of children play. She sees that the children are dirty as well, and she reaches down and smudges more dirt on her face in order to hide some of the porcelain look, and gingerly steps out of the bushes towards the children. "Hello," she says. "I'm Marybelle." And the children look at this strange new child and toss her a ball. Marybelle, not understanding what that means, they don't move to catch it. They've never played before. This is not something that makes sense to them. The children laugh. "You're supposed to catch it, you know," one child says. "You're a bit strange, aren't you?" another says. Marybelle looks at the ball on the ground and back towards the children. "I do not understand. Why do you wish to throw this at me and have me catch it? Why not keep it to yourself?" The children laugh and says, "That's the game. That's how you play." Marybelle reaches down and picks up the ball, looks at it for a moment, and throws it back towards the children with a little too much force. And it sails over their heads and back into the creek, washing down out of reach. The children look back at her in shock and dismay. Did you do that on purpose? We don't want to play with you. You should go home. We're leaving. And Marybelle watches them go, still not understanding what exactly happened. But they think that perhaps pretending to be a child isn't quite cut out for them.
We see an extravagant ballroom and a young man in a mask wearing doublet and slashed pants and hose and a mask and a shock of blonde hair above that. He catches the eye of a young woman in a long dark red dress, and she's also wearing a mask, and she makes her way through the people over to him. Sir Valentine. And he bows and laughs and says, "Oh, but you have spoiled the masquerade, my Lady Anne." And she smiles back, and they begin to dance together. But they've not been dancing long to the music of lute and pipe before suddenly there's another figure at Val's side. A handsome, athletic man in his mid-30s with a reddish-brown beard. Val bows and Anne curtsies. "Your Majesty." The king gives a polite but cold smile to Val, then turns to Anne. "May I have the honor?" She replies nervously, "The honor is mine, Your Majesty." And the king takes her for a turn on the dance floor while Val waits.
Did you want to do your Mask of the Future?
Yep, I can do that. Okay. So the prompt is narrate a future in which you happily raise a family. What year is it? Who is the last to express their love to you before you disappear? And then the usual take a keepsake, etc. So I think we see an older man. It's not especially short or especially tall, and with a shock of greying hair that may once have been blonde, and a moustache on his top lip. He's sitting in what looks to be a suburban front room, but next to him is a bed that's been kind of made up for someone who is obviously in a late stage of illness. And the man seated in the armchair is holding the hand of a woman who is lying in the bed. She looks perhaps similar age to him, but obviously very unwell. And she tries to put a brave face on and give a little laugh and says, "And what will you do now, Val? Perhaps it is time for you to travel the world again." And he says, and Val replies, or Val doesn't reply. And she grips his hand tighter and says, "I don't want you to give up, you know. I know I haven't been the same since we lost Will. But you should carry on living." And we fade out of that scene. And we fade into the front door of the house. The next morning, it opens, and we see a young woman, not particularly short, not particularly tall, with a shock of blonde hair above her army surplus coat and a bag slung across her back. She gives a quick look back into the house, then pulls the door closed and walks down the pathway to the front gate, closing it behind her. She pulls the hood up on her coat and cinches the front tighter against the cold, and then strides off briskly down the street without another backward glance. And we zoom in on the front step of the house where a newspaper lies that was delivered and left ignored that morning. And we see the headline, 13 killed as paratroops break riot, and the date, January 30th, 1972.
Thank you all. So, we begin another day phase. One threat down, 2 more to go. Or is it? Who knows? How do you want to spend your day phase? You have the Waitley camera, complexity 8, 1 question, 2 opportunities, and 5 clues available to you. 7 mummers of 7 dials. You have answered the threshold question, and you have 1 question of a complexity 6 to resolve the threat, as well as a bonus question, a complexity 2. And you currently have 1 clue available to you. So, you can spend the time investigating, or you can start with some vulnerable scenes, because there are people with conditions. And I forgot to give Marybelle a condition for an 8 last time, so the condition is spider cat scritches for meeting with the Fae Prince Rupert.
Would somebody be kind enough to remind me of how we answered the threshold question in the 7 mummers of 7 dials? I knew it had something to do with replacing Father Christmas.
Beelzebub is giving otherworldly gifts.
Awesome, thank you. Just needed the refresher.
Yeah, if you want to put that in the little notes cell in that question, you totally can. So this way you know what that threshold was. The resolution question for that is, why is Beelzebub taking the children for complexity 6? Okay. Oh, yeah, we can go back to your mask, Val.
I always do that with the mask that says, ask a keepsake. Ask for a keepsake.
You can ask for any one of us, including myself, if you need to, for that keepsake.
Let's get Amanda to do it. I don't think she's done it before.
Okay.
So it's a keepsake from your time in the future?
Yeah, from the Mask of the Future there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you had in your pocket of your coat an old 8-track. I guess it would be a new 8-track in 1972. I'll let you decide what album it is. I don't really know what Val listens to.
I'll
What's
look up
Val's,
something
like,
appropriate, yeah.
favorite album?
Especially if Val was somewhere around 60 years old in 1972.
Yeah.
So, getting together, you are all back at Hargrave House. And again, it doesn't have to be the next morning. It could be maybe a couple of days afterwards. And I had made some suggestions in the Discord chat, so want to make any consideration for those, you totally can. Or do your own thing, you know me. But everybody's got conditions of some sort, so, try to get rid of what you can, address what you have. Yeah.
Like Mad's suggestion of Daymond assisting Val, if you're all right with that, to try and get rid of the last of this long-term injury.
Yeah, we can do that.
I would like to request a vulnerable move with treasure. If you don't mind me setting the scene. I think Marybelle is setting up a location for Prince Rupert II to stay in the house. and is trying to get things together for that when they come upon you. I'm sure you're doing whatever daily routine you do for Mr. Gray. Oh, treasure, is it?
That's right. Good morning, Marybelle.
Yes, well, I don't sleep, therefore it's just another time of the day for me. It seems
Midday?
like you are not doing anything important at the moment.
I- Is there something that you need?
I do indeed.
Oh, yes. Just name it. I'd be happy to help.
Oh, fantastic. I appreciate that. Here's a list of things that I need, and the room I need them to go into. The mattress that I've requested should be stuffed, approximately half full, so that I know how much more stuffing we need to add. I'm not very certain as to Prince Rupert II's preferences, you see. And this list is like really, really long. Just this giant list of random things that Marybelle has put together.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
certain you're
that.
capable of doing this. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Yes, I will. I will get right to it. I'll take care of this directly. I can tell that you'd like Prince Rupert to be very comfortable, so I will do
Prince
my
Rupert
very best to.
II.
Oh, Prince Rupert II.
Yes. You see, there
Ah.
is already a Prince Rupert in the house.
Yes. Oh, quite right. Yes, my mistake.
I'm
I
surprised you
will.
haven't familiarized yourself with the people and the pets in this household yet. You've
Yes,
been here
I
a
will,
while, haven't you?
in a manner of speaking, and I will endeavor to do better in the future, Marybelle. My while you're here, you seem quite capable. Might I? Hmm. There's something that's been worrying me, and I didn't want to. I didn't necessarily want to bring it up again with Mr. Gray. Would you be willing to? Could I ask some advice?
Marybelle gives a very long pause before saying, I suppose you can. I'm quite knowledgeable, you know.
Indeed, that's exactly why I thought to ask you. You remind me. I was reading. Well, that doesn't matter. It seems that I have come under suspicion and scrutiny of the constabulary due to something that Kemuel did while you and he were. They were resolving that mess with that terrifying plant. And so how does one go about proving their innocence in a situation like this where to rights this body is quite guilty, although well, through no fault of my own, I would say. Do you have any thoughts?
Body you are in is guilty of this crime, therefore you are guilty. However, should you not wish to face up to these crimes, it might be prudent to place the blame on someone else, so to speak.
Place the blame on someone else.
Since you are both guilty and not guilty of this crime, passing the blame, well, In one way, you can consider that saving an innocent man from an unjust punishment.
That's quite a relief. I hadn't quite thought about it in those terms, but you're right. It would be, well, in a manner of speaking, it would be serving the cause of justice to see that I wasn't wrongly punished.
Would it truly be justice if you were punished for this crime?
Yes, that's a very useful point.
However, I should note that if you were still Kemuel, this wouldn't be an issue. Kemuel would simply just destroy the pursuers.
Indeed. I can attest that that is exactly what they would do. It seems unwise to murder the constabulary. It doesn't seem like a, well, I'm not equipped in the way that Kemuel was for those sorts of brash actions, I fear. And he will kind of gingerly reach up and sort of brush a mote that had been clinging to Marybelle's hair, perhaps. Which, unless there's anything else you'd ask of me, I will get to the business of seeing to Prince Rupert II's accommodations.
Prince Rupert II, that is correct.
Yes.
I do, however, have a concern. This crime that Kemuel is wanted for, thus you are wanted for, is that likely to have blowback onto Hargrave House?
I will do my best to assure that it doesn't, no matter what happens. I certainly wouldn't want anything to come back and interfere with the important work that Mr. Gray and yourself and Master Gys-Otteray are conducting here. If it comes down to it, I will, I will offer myself up if need be, but hopefully it won't come to that. Perhaps I ought to affect a disguise or something when I am out outside the bounds of Hargrave House.
I do believe that would be prudent. However, I will take it upon myself to assist you with this task.
Oh, I hope it's no trouble. You needn't, that's very kind of you, Marybelle. Much appreciated.
I do not believe you are capable of handling it on your own. And I would dislike it if something bad were to happen to anyone at Hargrave House, which I suppose now also includes you.
Thank you so much, Marybelle.
Good day.
Conditions.
I'm hoping that by treating Prince Rupert II like a regular cat, albeit a prissy one, helps clear the condition that I just received.
Sure, I think maybe perhaps, like, he's traipsing around Hargrave House, like claiming his turf, because just like regular cats, it's like, you can make the best things possible and then they'll still pick the paper bag to sit in.
Oh yeah. So I imagine that he's like scurrying around on the ceiling and like up into like the the curtains and such.
Absolutely. For sure. So you can remove that. And Treasure, you think you've addressed that enough that you can remove suspect murder?
I guess maybe with the proviso that Treasure will disguise themselves.
Okay.
When to the extent like when they're not, not
Ensconced in Hargrave House.
ensconced in Hargrave House, or perhaps impersonating Kemuel
Exactly.
somewhere
Well,
else. But yeah,
that should be interesting because, yeah, I mean, if you forget, I will have it come back to bite you in the ass.
sure, yeah.
Of course. Okay. Next scene. Oh, wait. Whose vice are we doing?
I was trying to sneak in Marybelle's vice by the little bit of cleaning, but I don't know
Okay.
whether that.
I'll take it. I mean, that's fine. And in which case, then, yeah. So Marybelle. I mean, I know by now, like the vulnerable moves have like been messed around with, but you know what? We're just still gonna run with what we know. So, you can either stumble upon a clue, or you can invite Treasure to ask you a question about your past.
I'll invite Treasure to ask a question.
Ooh. You want a
You're
moment
welcome
to
to
think
think
about
about
that?
it if you want.
Yeah, I mean, like, because we can go to the next scene.
Yeah, let me think about it for a little bit.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay. So, Daymond, Val, where do you want to hold this, and whose vice are you using?
Well, if you're still weighed up, perhaps still
Yeah.
in your room with one of your speculative fiction novels,
Sure. Do it.
I'd imagine that the rest of the house would hear sort of the wobbly shake of china on tray, followed by some sharp raps at the door to Val's room. Valentine,
in.
are you decent?
Mr. Gray.
Yes, and there'd be more shuffling of porcelain and silver as a doorknob's trying to get opened before Daymond comes in with a silver tray, with 2 teacups, pot of hot water, several odd emerald-colored lozenges, and a few biscuits.
That's very thoughtful of you, Mr. Gray. I was perhaps just about to ring for tea.
The thanks are not all due to me. The lozenges come from Marybelle's personal stash. Medicinal in nature, hopefully to get rid of your continuing ailments.
I am starting to feel myself again. I have been taking a few constitutionals around the town, and my flexibility is returning.
Excellent. Perhaps with one of your lady friends?
On occasion. Why do you ask, Mr. Gray?
It's nice to see everyone at Hargrave House finding their person. Kemuel found Hattie. Marybelle found us. Treasure's still finding his people, but I worry about you. You seem to be indecisive when it comes to your own wants and needs.
I can't
Like,
help but notice you left yourself out of the list as well, Mr. Gray.
Daymond thinks for a moment, debating about revealing a thing from his past that should probably be left in the shadows. Someone with these scars, I would not wish to subject anyone to being seen with this. I am not the kind of person that finds or that should subject others to my misfortunes.
I know quite how you feel, Mr. Gray. I sometimes feel I have brought more pain than happiness into the lives of those I have shared my time with.
I do not think that is the case, Val. The way that you've immediately captured the charm of Isabel, you haven't even known her, what, 2 weeks? And she's already enamored with you as if you'd spent a lifetime together?
Right, there's a little more to the story than that.
Well, we have time while the tea steeps.
Isabel, once, a long time but a long way from here, we were somewhat close. Although, when I tried to propose we could become closer, she, at that time, rejected me. And I rather expected she'd be the happier for it. Now, whoever has brought her here, I think has done so in order to draw my ire, my attention, and poor Isabel is just but a pawn in their game.
I know a thing or two about being a pawn in someone else's game, but the thing about being a pawn is that if you play your cards right, rather your moves properly across the board, at some point you do get to be the queen. Does she not get to be your queen?
That is not for me to say.
Just because you asked her once what felt like a lifetime ago does not mean you can't ask again. The only thing that you've got to lose is time. And I have a nagging suspicion that you, of all people, may have a surplus of that.
I think Val gives you a wry smile at that.
Oh, come now. It helps if you at least keep your books with a copyright date reasonably close to this century.
I think Val closes the book she's reading, and we see the cover is a woman with a white hood and a long red dress, and it says The Handmaid's Tale of Margaret Atwood. Well, given the state of Hargrave House library, I'm sure I could explain that away easily enough were I to need to.
You need to explain nothing to me. I haven't read your books. The almanac simply wanted to know if there was company.
The almanac.
Of the Hyades? I've taken it from the library if you do need to refer to it.
Still have it. Interesting. Well,
You're not the only one that finds comfort in the pages of a book.
I'm gratified to know that we have an interest in common, Mr. Gray. Perhaps we can trade recommendations at some point.
I'd like that. Daymond would hand you a tea on a plate with a emerald-colored lozenge and a biscuit.
These lozenges, rather wonder if what is good for Marybelle is also good for the likes of us. What are they exactly?
The last of the orchid's powers. They popped one into my mouth a few nights ago. The resolution of that ordeal with the seamstress. They are at the very least not poisonous, which, for Marybelle's cooking standards, is a plus.
So long as they are not going to enslave me to whatever that plant creature was, I shall take your word that they will have a benefit to my health, Mr. Gray.
And we'll hold up one of the cups. Suppose to good health and a book club.
Good health and a book club.
Conditions. What are you addressing?
Silver scars forever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think given I've kind of had some narrative time for Val to be healing up a bit, and Mr. Gray has brought medicine and claws of the beast, maybe.
Yes. Yes. So you're getting back to fighting trim, and Mr. Gray, your silver scars are starting to heal up. And I think because the seamstresses left the plane, I think we can reasonably say that they're not as prevalent per se because of taking care of that threat. So if it's Val's vice that we're saying that was being used, then Val, you have the option of stumbling upon a clue or inviting Mr. Gray to ask you a question about your past. What would you like?
It's tough. Just glancing at the threats real quick to see if we are in need of clues for anything.
You are.
We sure are. But
I know. Whatever you want.
I'll invite a question.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to Treasure and Marybelle. So Treasure can ask a question of Marybelle.
Yeah, and I think maybe we see Treasure sort of tottering up and down stairs, like carrying this big stack of stuff with the list flapping behind, kind of like teetering from side to side, like the little child Treasure of earlier, making trips up and down, and then finding Marybelle to let them know that the room is ready for Prince Rupert II.
Very good. Let's go
Yes.
see this.
Yes, just here, as you said. Have a look. I hope everything's up to the standards you had in mind.
And I think I look around, and of course, Prince Rupert II gets their own room because they're a giant spider. And I feel like having them share a room with Val might be a little presumptuous. What if Prince Rupert II doesn't like Val? I imagine Prince Rupert II is gonna like Prince Rupert, and I think they're gonna be best friends. But anyway, so looking around this room, and I think, yes, I see that you've set up a number of climbing apparatuses. That is good foresight on your part.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I thought that given the second Prince Rupert's unique physiology, I thought that might make sense. Well, I'll take my leave. Before I do, I was wondering, Marybelle, I know you've been at Hargrave House for some time, but before you came here, what were your Did you have dreams? What were your aspirations? Is this what you wanted in your life?
As we spoke about earlier, I do not sleep, therefore I do not dream.
I meant dreams, I guess, in the more hypothetical sense. Did you aspire to a particular path through the world?
You mean like a profession or a calling?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, a calling perhaps, or a
I did
vision
not
of how things might play out ahead of you.
I did not know of such things until I came to Hargrave House. And even then, I do believe it took some time to understand the concept. After many conversations with Mr. Gray, I have discovered that it is likely that I could achieve having dreams, as you say, or aspirations. At this moment in time, my goal is to assist Hargrave House in whatever matters are needed and to ensure the safety of the people of London. However, I have been thinking beyond that. Goals for myself that have nothing to do with the people of London.
Indeed, self-efficacy. Always a worthy pursuit. Are you happy?
I do not feel emotions the same way that humans feel emotions. So I cannot say if I feel happy or sad. I do not feel uncomfortable. Discomfort is more than an emotion. It is a physical experience as well. Therefore, if I'm not uncomfortable, I must be happy. Is that correct?
Yes, it certainly seems that would contribute to one's happiness. Thank you kindly for your very thoughtful answer to that question. If I might ever do anything to bring you comfort, please don't hesitate to ask.
I'll be certain to tell you if you bring me any discomfort.
Very good. Very good. And good day.
Good day. I like that you got the good day in there earlier. Nice.
Nice. Back to Val and Daymond. Daymond, do you have a question for Val? I'm assuming
Okay.
that's what we went with.
I think I do. I think I would, as we finish up the tea, everything getting placed back on the tray, crumbs getting brushed off the bed, Daymond would turn to look at your bookshelf, Val, and all the different stories that you've collected over lifetimes. Which one's your favorite? Not the books. It's too small of a question. Which lifetime was your favorite?
That's a hard question to answer, Mr. Gray. Because, well, I can't say that any of them ended particularly happily, but I did once have a family, a wife and a son. The boy took after me in following some sense of duty. He became a military man and died as one. But until that happened, I think we were happy for a time.
Perhaps when all of this nonsense is over and Hargrave House has a moment to rest, if you had the chance to speak to your son, wherever they may be, whenever they may be, would that be something that you'd like? I'm not saying I can do it, but you've seen what I can do.
And think of nothing I would like more, and nothing I fear more, Mr. Gray.
I'll look into that. May I at least know the child's name? If it
William.
is... I'm sorry, what was that?
William.
Excellent. No promises, but I'll see what I can do.
I don't know if I should thank you or tell you to stop.
I don't think you could stop me from looking into this if you tried, though a simple ask is all it would take.
Satisfactory. I'm gonna say, just gonna make the executive decision that, given that Madame Beaumont is no longer on this plane, as well as King in Shadows. Well, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and release Witness to the Retreating Shadows and Mesmerized. If I need to bite you in the ass, I'll find a different way. It's fine. Time and space, gentlemen. Time and space. It's all right. Okay, so any more scenes that anybody wants? Treasure, just as a reminder, because of the employer move and all this kind of stuff, you can only ask for you can only ask for a vulnerable move with your employer. So if you want one, take it. If not, then we'll move on. Given that, where do people want to go for day phase?
I would like to go to Seven Dials to visit the I don't know, Scotland Yard office there. Office, what's it, like the station? Police station? Whatever that would be. And no, I don't think that's a location.
Yeah, no, it isn't. But I mean, like, shit, we did College of Arms for something else. So I mean, like, and that's still in play. So Val, if ever you want to go back for whatever reason, we totally can do so. I mean, like, we can say that Scotland Yard.
I just want to go talk to some Scotland Yard bobbies. That's all.
Sure, absolutely.
In Seven Dials.
Yeah. I mean, like, hell, I had the constabulary like chase after treasure in Seven Dials.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, there must be a local police station there. Scotland Yard is like the head office.
Yeah, I know the writer of Seven Mummers of Seven Dials did not write a location, unless she did. Did I do that?
No,
I don't think I did. No,
you didn't. I reviewed that. Oh, ow! But if you still want to, then you totally can. There is some kind of constabulary precinct station somewhere nearby because they would have. That's Marybelle. Where's everybody else gone?
Daymond would like to go to the pub in Seven Dials. We didn't quite get to last time.
I'll do something about weekly camera, but I have no idea what. I mean, my excuse would be to go back to.
You could show treasure around because Kemuel, a treasure will need to pretend to be Kemuel, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Yes, if I can convince Treasure to come with me and try and pass him off as Kemuel, returned to see the photographs that were taken.
Yeah, can't remember whether the photographs got taken or yet or
They did
not. But
not.
I as a
Mm.
player am definitely up for doing that.
They
Uh,
they did some practice poses. They wanted to
right.
see the goods, so they
Mm,
had
mhm.
you change into different outfits, I'm sure. But as far as I know, you had gone, well, Kemuel had gone up to the Olympus room. Let
Yeah,
me
that's
see
right.
something.
Oh, yes, he was going to be
It's going to
dressed
be
as
Paris.
Paris, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
son of Priam.
Oh, interesting. Oh. Okay. And we established, I think, before that you, Treasure, have like a dim memory of things that Kemuel had done or gone through. So, I mean, like, it's not like you had access, you were like reading his mind, like reading their mind or anything like that. It was more like you would not have perceived things the same exact way that Kemuel would have. Yeah.
Right. Like Treasure was like a passenger in the body. So
Yeah.
like the way that I imagine it is that sometimes uh sometimes he was awake,
Yeah.
and was seeing was experiencing the same things, but just as a
Misty,
yeah, right.
vague thing. Okay, great. Okay, that's going to come into play when we bring you back to the society for sure. Okay, great. So I have Marybelle going back to Seven Dials, and Daymond will go with them. Because you're going to hit the Crown Public House. Marybelle's going to talk to the constabulary, and Val and Treasure are heading back to Society Obscura. Okay, all right, makes sense. Let's take a break. Let's do 10 minutes on this one, and then when we come back, then everybody's gonna split off and do their thing. I don't know if you want to like try to do a little scene of like when you're going to Society Obscura, Val, but like if you want to try to prep Treasure somehow to try to, I don't know, pass off as Kemuel. I don't know how you want to do this, so think
Yeah,
about it.
we could kind of establish something on the way there, maybe.
Yep, exactly. All right. I could just easily place you in the locations, or, you can do like a lead up scene for each of the pairs. So I think Val and Treasure, I was almost going to say Kemuel. God damn it. Yeah, I know they sort of need one, but Marybelle and Daymond, if you want to just end up in Seven Dials and then split off, then you totally can.
I think even on the way there, um, Maribel, I mean, they don't really preamble very much, so I think they would just say, and Treasure is working for you now.
Working for is not how I would put it, but probably how Treasure would put it himself. I still He believes that he owes me a debt for freeing him from his shackles.
Do you
And
believe that he owes you a debt?
no, I do not. I selfishly did it more so to see if I could, though having a young man plead with you for assistance and being able to help, it warms the heart.
And if I were to ask for your assistance, would you be as quick to help?
Anything.
That is good to know. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
With the standard caveat that you cannot have my soul. or treasures. Both have been promised elsewhere.
Ah, I do not believe I have need of a soul, but I will keep that in mind.
Should it ever arise.
I am concerned, Mr. Gray, that Kemuel's interactions with the world and the situation with the police is going to cause more trouble than it's worth.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. I'm not even entirely sure what Kemuel supposedly did, but the police seem to have treasure down for the crime.
I do believe it was murder.
Oh, that? Easy enough. Who hasn't committed at least one? Or several? Before?
I do believe it would be unfortunate if Treasure were to have to leave Hargrave House on account of Kemuel's crimes, despite the fact that they are the same person. Therefore, Treasure is guilty as well.
In that case, on behalf of Treasure, may I ask you a favor? while,
Perhaps.
while you're visiting with the Bobbies, if perhaps you were to find records detailing the crime, if they were to slip into your pocket or get thrown into a fire, it would be most beneficial for us all.
Mr. Gray, I do believe you might be a mind reader.
I do then have to ask, do you have a mind capable of being read?
I am certainly capable of thought. I do not understand how it could be any different. It is not like reading a book, like one of Val's books that you open up and follow the words.
Oh my goodness, Marybelle, a genuine figure of speech. And I would like to hug Marybelle. I'm so proud of you.
Marybelle
you
pats Mr. Gray awkwardly on the back. Did I use it correctly?
You did so beautifully. Oh, you're growing so much. Oh,
I have not grown. I am the same height.
metaphorically.
And I think she gives you a look, and it's a look because she doesn't really laugh, but it's a look like, yeah, I know, I'm just getting your goat.
Let's switch over to Val and Treasure on the way to Society Obscura. I'm assuming you two are taking a cab. How are you prepping Treasure for this? Val. I mean, are you putting Treasure in a different suit? What are we doing to disguise?
I think we'll assume that the society would provide the costuming necessary. I think it's more that Val is saying to Treasure, so you understand, while we are there, you are still and have always been Kemuel. There is still more information we need to find out about this Society Obscura. And Kemuel was much as I have my reservations about the man, was our way in.
I'll do my very best. These people who run the society, They're the Abernethys?
Yes, they were interested in photographing Kemuel, I believe, in a classical motif. And, well, I did some investigation while I was there, but that did not end so successfully. Perhaps questioning more directly will produce better results.
Right. I'll do my best. I hope you'll forgive me for the way I'll have to speak to you when I'm affecting the demeanor of Kemuel. Speaking of which, how would you prefer that I address you normally?
Kemuel always referred to me as Val, and that is fine.
You're quite sure. I'll if that's all right, I'll call you Val then as well.
I'm not one to stand on ceremony and paying too much heed to titles and formality.
Is there anything else you think I ought to keep in mind or know as we head into the Society Obscura?
Only that it seems that one exploring the place unsupervised can be dangerous.
I hope that you'll take good care then should we be separated.
I believe it would be best if we were to stay together at this time. Treasure, if your pretense as Kemuel starts to slip, I can perhaps provide a distraction.
That certainly sounds good to me. And I think maybe as the carriage or whatever is drawing up, Treasure has put on a broad-brimmed hat and kind of wrapped a scarf up around the lower half of his face for the brief trip from the carriage to the door.
Now remember, Kemuel, you are haughty, imperious, and entirely self-possessed.
Here goes.
We will knock on the door of the Society Obscura.
Periwinkle answers the door. Oh. So, how are you doing? The master and mistress were curious, but they didn't want to intrude. You had not contacted us since your injury here. Are you well? It is good to see you up.
Thank you, I am well. And Mr. Robel has returned. He finds himself with some time to spare to you, if...
Oh, yes. Yes, the Abernethys were curious, but again, they didn't want to disturb. Pardon, I'm going to go fetch them immediately. Please, come in. And he brings you in without really stating anything, because as soon as he sees, Treasure's countenance, he obviously recognizes him and will run off to the Abernethys and has you stop at the foyer. I think maybe he'll bring them down straight away as Portia, they're both dressed in not in the outlandish garb that they were before, but they will be dressed in kind of like half and half outfits. Like she's in black again, while he's in white, and they are in not in pastoral wear, like as if they were getting ready for the scene up in the Olympus room, but probably for one of the other rooms, like probably like in duster coats or what they want to affect for the American West room, probably something weird. And they'll just come like towards you, and like Portia will reach out her hands to take yours, Kemuel. Oh, Kemuel, I've been waiting so desperately, but we just didn't want to disturb you. Are you ready? Are you ready to be immortalized through the camera?
Indeed, we are, Portia.
That's wonderful.
Nothing would make us happier.
Lovely. We have your costume upstairs. Cannot wait to try it on. Pardons, we were in the middle of setting up for yet another tableau. Cyrus, please, get him ready, please. And then, of course, like Cyrus will take you gently by the arm and lead you upstairs to the Olympus room, and Portia will turn to you, Val, seeing you, and say, I hope you are well. We, again, didn't want to intrude. You had not contacted us. I wanted to make sure that, well, you didn't need any more medical help.
Quite well, thank you.
Are you here to witness your friend's triumph?
Yes, I am attending to Mr. Rebel in this matter.
Wonderful, wonderful. We may have need of an extra, so we might have you in costume as well, but we'll have to see. I mean, of course, splendor such as that probably deserves his own tableau by himself. But please, let us go upstairs and we shall begin. And, she will take you by the arm, gently by the arm, and then lead you upstairs as well. Periwinkle is like kind of fawning over both pairs as well. And we go back to Marybelle and Daymond. So once your carriage gets to where it needs to go, I guess you would part. Upon seeing the constable station. And Daymond, you probably, as the carriage rocks up, it's probably you're going to hear like the sounds, the very loud sounds of the public house, which never seems to be never seems to be quiet. So let's do the public house first, since it's the big raucous thing. The Crown Public House, popular with local Irish immigrants. Sticky floors from spilled ale. The tables shake from the stomping of boary-eyed patrons dancing a hearty jig. Paint the scene. What strategies does the barkeep use to ensure Scotland Yard keeps their nose out of the public house's business? And the paint the scene is for everyone.
I think at the door there is a rather surly looking tough guy that checks everyone for weapons before they come in, so that there's no violence on the premises, which means the bobbies have no need to come in.
And I think he also serves to stall any bobbies just long enough and announce their presence in a loud enough voice that those inside can move any contraband or that kind of thing out of sight very quickly.
There is a drink on the menu that doesn't exist. By ordering it, you're given an empty flagon and can place anything you want inside of this tin mug, and the barkeep will take it back and hide it in a special compartment, just in case.
What's more, we see the barkeep stepping out into a back alley, maybe emptying a bucket of dirty water, pausing for a few moments as a young ne'er-do-well sort of ragamuffin child draws near. And the barkeep hands the boy an envelope and sets him off on his way to offer a little Christmas bonus to the local sergeant.
That's the atmosphere that you find yourself, Daymond, as you enter into the Crown Public House. Quite merry. I mean, there will be, besides the tough guy at the front who will announce or like kind of look you up and down, first of all, checking to see if you have any weapons, like maybe he'll be quite loud and announce you in a particular way. Do you give your name?
Yes, Daymond would give his name and give it freely, Daymond Gray.
And then the bouncer, I don't know, at the door will probably say, kind of like yell over to the bartender, the barkeep, and just like, "Oi, got a Mr. Gray!" And then like kind of like announce like some kind of drink that like everybody hearing it like will laugh because they know that this is a drink that will put, well, if it doesn't knock you out in the first 3 sips, then then maybe you're okay. But they want to see if you're going to get knocked on your ass drinking this thing. So right this way. And then like he'll kind of like show you at a high stool. What can we do you for?
Here looking on behalf here on behalf of Miss Ryan, Bridget, and her sweet daughter Mary. Rumors that the mummers visited elsewhere, and just hoping to find more information from the good folk at the local alehouse, and perhaps sample something divine.
You'll be seeing the glory of God by drinking this, sir. And then like they throw it down your way. But you're welcome to do an information move with the barkeep or the bouncer, whichever one you want to talk to, engage with.
Let's do the bouncer. Because he's there, he's ordered me a drink. Just simple conversation.
So this will be with presence if you're just doing conversation.
Yeah, no need to force anything.
Okay. And I'm gonna. I know this isn't the way it usually is done, but I'm gonna ask you: are you going to take a drink first before you start talking, or are you going to wait?
Ask the question, and then take it, and then drink as like just part of natural conversation of I've finished speaking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Because I was going to give you heart disadvantage if you had taken a drink first. So.
Did the information move?
Yes. With
Oh.
presence, please.
Presence?
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
Just so long as I don't have to roll a night move with vitality to not get my ass handed to me by a beverage, we're good.
No, I think you did that in your last campaign with me. Any information regarding kids? Yes, somebody's got to be doing something about this kind of thing, sir. 2 children already missing, possibly even more, that have gone by the wayside, and the Bobbies have done absolutely nothing. I mean, strange things have even been found. I myself, outside of the house, have discovered a bottle of moonshine and something quite disturbing floating inside. Didn't quite stop me from drinking it, of course, but I mean, you know, extra flavor, whatever, but I mean, I didn't question it. It looked like something from our insides.
A good moonshine would kill anything in there.
That's what I'd be thinking, sir. And that is your clue. A bottle of moonshine with something disturbing floating inside. Always. Let me flip over to Marybelle. Marybelle. So, you have been gone over to the police station, the constable's depot, whatever we want to call it. Run down, neglected, with bored bobbies either waiting to retire or waiting to get moved to a better station. Paint the scene. How can you tell that the bobbies here care more about punishing those they see fit than upholding the law? How can you tell that the bobbies here care more about punishing those they see fit than upholding the law?
I think there's a room. It's sort of like an interrogation room, a meeting room, the room where you sit and talk to, let's say, victims of crimes. But the window in the room that so people could look into and perhaps supervise what's going on in there is papered over, so you can't see inside.
I think as Marybelle enters, there is a lady at the desk talking to the desk sergeant on duty, trying to report something, that she was concerned someone had been following her, and the sergeant is just absolutely dismissive, not even attempting to take names or write anything down, just telling her that she must have been imagining things. It's probably nothing.
The wash, the wash water sitting in the mop bucket isn't a dirty brown, it's red.
And I think there's a wooden beam with drawings of actually maybe even a drawing of the barman from the public house that's pinned up to the beam with a stiletto.
Fun place. That's where you find yourself, Marybelle. Who do you want to tackle?
Marybelle, before walking into the station, they sort of move and shift their body around to appear even smaller than they normally would look, to look a little bit more downtrodden or quiet or shy. And it is strange how childlike they can look. This strange doll. And I think that's how they go in. walking in, shuffling a little, looking up from a lowered head, going up to the first bored-looking Bobby that they see. Excuse me, officer.
Oh, what do you want? Shouldn't you be in school or something?
I certainly should be. I'm very lost. I think my parents have abandoned me. Can you help me, officer? I'm so scared. Just a little child, you see. I don't know my way around the big city.
Big
But a
city.
brave officer like you, surely you'd be able to help.
This is a particularly grizzled old fellow. One of the ones that's waiting to retire. And just kind of like, not even looking at you at all. And just kind of like trudging out from behind their desk, and will just kind of like, stick on their hat, and then, all right, fine. Where'd you see them last?
Why, sure, you see, officer. All the buildings look so tall, and they all look the same. It could have been just down the road or even miles away.
Miles away? Then why'd you come all the way over here? Didn't your, didn't your, didn't your folks have some sort of, I don't know, friends or community or What about the
I don't know,
school?
officer. You see, my parents, they're not very good people. They've done bad things. Really bad things, officer. Oh, thank you so much for helping me.
What kind of bad things? And it's like you can hear him perk up as like he kind of like looks hard at you, and then now is curious, as he's, you know, leading you out of the station and kind of walking along with you. What kind
Well,
of bad things?
I'm afraid to talk about it out here in the open, officer. Can we go back to the station where it's safe?
All right, come on. And then he'll bring you to the back room, like the papered over back room where, God knows. Ugh. And all right.
As we're walking through,
Mhm.
Marybelle is sort of fidgeting with their hands under their apron, trying to look like they're uncomfortable, like they've seen people do, where they sort of fidget and move around. But really, she's unscrewing her hand. Because I have my galvanic cardioverter where my appendages can be removed and still operational. So I would like my hand to scurry
Oh, yes.
and go investigating.
Information move with composure, please. Trying to do this surreptitiously. Jesus. Oh, man.
My composure is, oh yeah, I have that one today. That's a 9.
Okay. All right, let's get you a little clue, and then we'll give you a complication.
Yeah, I think I just unscrew the hand and it scurries down the inside of my, sleeve, inside my dress, down my leg, to go investigate the papers on the desk.
Right.
in order to try and find anything about either what's going on here in Seven Dials or, maybe something about Kemuel. Maybe both. Hopefully both.
Oh, two really fun clues. Your hand will scurry back. Let's do this one because I don't think I've used this one. Your hand will, as you're telling your sob story, fake as it is, I think, your hand, you'll see out of the corner of your spectrographic eye that your hand is scurrying under the table, around the desk and such, around their feet, and then has something kind of like clamped in it, or like walking on two fingers and the thumb, and then like maybe when on the other fingers it's like it's got something in it, and it looks like it's a little notebook, and it's like, when you finally get a look at it later, you'll see that it's like a notebook detailing arrests by Scotland Yard in Seven Dials. But for right now, I think, as this Bobby is like kind of like looking and, like paying attention to what you're saying and like very intent upon it, I think as the notebook gets back into your, starts like trying to reattach itself or whatever, the Bobby like, gets wind of or like, starts to notice the movement and goes, "What the bloody hell is this? What are you?" And then starts to like, like back away, like, like upend their chair and then just like kind of back away and just, "What is this? What kind of abomination is this?" And like, starts to scream, and like, he'll have other Bobbies like, in the room in a few minutes, or in less than a minute.
Can I react before he screams?
Sure.
Just like I did with Treasure, I want to hand around the throat up the wall.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Day move?
I think all child pretext is gone now.
Oh, yeah.
clearly.
Holy crap.
I'm hoping to intimidate this guy into not screaming or passing out or talking to me.
Okay.
So I am imagining that's probably presence.
Yep.
If anything that helps with my presence. I think
Well,
the answer
presence,
is probably.
or like, I'll like also take vitality, because I mean, like, you're literally like taking him off, like, his feet and intimidating with like this very physical move.
Yeah, I don't really have anything good, so it's just a flat roll.
Okay.
That's okay, because it's an 8.
Okay. So, what do you do to try to like get this guy to concede or I mean, like, what is your goal? Is that you want him to pass out?
No, I think I want him to answer another question.
Okay.
I think I've gotten some information on Seven Dials, and now I want some information on Kemuel, or on the ideal with Kemuel.
Okay.
So I think have up on the wall, and I think I release his throat just enough that he's not going to choke, but still have a nice tight hold on him, so he's not going to slide down the wall or escape.
Okay.
I assure you, officer, I am not an abomination, but I am something more frightening than you could possibly comprehend. As such, it would be very smart of you to answer my questions.
What do you want?
Who is the lead investigator investigating Kemuel?
I don't know Kemuel. Just know about some fancy pretty boy.
Yes.
It's been seen lately in Seven Dials.
That is the person I mean. Who is the lead investigator?
Sergeant Popwell, out on the beat.
Oh, Lord, I can't just let him go because he's just going to tell on me.
Yes, he will.
I'm going to break his neck.
Okay. Okay.
Abab.
What was that about, like, people doing bad things? Okay.
Yes, but I don't feel guilty about it because I don't have feelings.
That's true. That's true. That's so true. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to break his neck, and then I'm going to put the scared little child facade back on.
Okay. I mean, I think everybody is, like, pretty much, like, they didn't hear him, you know,
Yeah.
like, whatever. And so, you know, you probably will just, like, walk out unnoticed. Although, I mean, like,
I
you
did
know,
get an 8, so there's going to be
Oh,
some
yeah.
kind of complication.
oh, hue and cry, like, you know, soon after you leave the station for sure.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a
But I'm hoping if I look more like a scared little kid, I'll be
Mhm.
less noticeable
Mhm,
than
mhm.
a strange doll walking around.
Yeah, exactly. Wanted.
Oops.
Murder. Long you're a suspect. Wanted murder. Oh boy. It's even more
But
fun.
there's nobody. Did anybody see me?
Um,
I saw a little kid.
they saw a little kid. Yeah. Well, okay. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. You know what? I'll think about this and I'll get back to you. All right, let's go back to Kemuel and Val. But yeah, like I'm very cognizant of your 8. Holy shit. Amazing. Okay. So, yeah, so Treasure, you are being brought up um by Cyrus with Val and um, Portia, you know, quick on your heels, with Periwinkle, of course, like fluttering about as well, to the Olympus room. Yeah. The Olympus room is a room in the Society's townhouse used for artistic photography, decorated to look like a scene from Greek myth. However, this particular paint the scene is only for Treasure. Treasure, I think as you enter this room, you're getting a vague vision, memory of when Kemuel was occupying your body. And it's almost like the decorations are moving, but they're quite still. What is it about the decorations that make you think that there was some kind of presence here that Kemuel noticed, knew something when they were here last? Again, this is decorated to look like a scene from Greek myth.
I think looking around and getting that sense of movement and motion, uh, Treasure gets kind of a feeling of a tingle in the back of his neck, and almost like he's going to swoon. Uh, you know, the sensation of maybe how it felt when Kemuel would sort of enter into his body. And in that moment, then has that sense that indeed there had been some presence here that Kemuel could detect, that otherwise that Treasure doesn't detect it anywhere other than in this memory.
Cyrus will guide you over to their, like, very slender rack of costumes. The costume that he presents, which you may be even vaguely remembering, is barely, barely a toga. So, or whatever the thing is. It's like, like a swatch of fabric across the chest and then like, a small skirt, like possibly, maybe covering your privates or strategically placed fabric. Indeed, exactly. So that's what that's what Cyrus presents to you. And then Portia is like, we'll turn to you, Val, and say, yes, we've been eagerly awaiting the return of your friend. Presented such classical lines. It was just so perfect. And the tableau. When we pull out the painted set, it'll be such a wonderful picture. Beautiful. Oh, thank you, Kaitan. Okay. But yeah, so. And Cyrus will kind
Yes.
of look at you, Treasure, and just say, here it is.
This will do very nicely. Don't you think, Valentine? Don't you think we'll look glorious in this?
I'm sure you would look glorious in anything, Mr. Robel. But yes, that is a most flattering garment.
So, Cyrus, shall we change right here?
I would have expected nothing less. You were practically tearing off your clothing the last time.
Well, we wouldn't want to get to the best part too quickly. Now, would we?
And Portia just turns to you, Val, and goes, "Isn't he wonderful? Ah, it's like eating a particularly delicious piece of cake."
And I think Val's kind of desperately trying to make an expression toward Treasure as if to say, just take it down a notch.
And I guess Treasure will change into the outfit and say, if you wouldn't mind, Cyrus,
Yes.
we might like to have a little mild musical accompaniment to our portraiture,
Oh,
if that's quite all right.
I don't see why not. It's not our usual method, but what would you suggest?
We have just the thing. And I'll walk over to a table, maybe, or, pedestal, maybe, since it's a Olympus room, trying to kind of survey the entire scene, kind of looking closely, and set the inscribed music box on this plinth and open it up, kind of maybe glancing back at Valentine with a gesture towards the ears. Yes, we think this will be a very conducive accompaniment to having our portrait made.
Who's to play it, Mr. Robel?
Yes. And he'll pop open the lid and set the music box to playing.
This would be a What is your intention for this?
So my intention, I guess, which would largely maybe depend on how the roll goes. But my intention with this is that given that the music box causes strange dreams and delirious visions with its unrecognizable tune, my hope is that Cyrus and Portia would be like caught up enough in a delirium to allow a thorough searching of their persons or the room, or
I like it.
you know.
Examination of the camera would be ideal.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I will accept this as a information move with advantage with this thing. Let's see. Sensitivity, because this is activating some serious weird shit.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a 0, so we'll
With advantage with the music box, you'll have to mark it.
advantage. That is 7.
Okay. With advantage, really? Oh my god.
Yeah. 3,
Well,
4,
good thing
and
you
3.
good thing you used it then. All right, advantage 7 with music box. Okay, yeah, go ahead and mark the music box as being used, but you still have it, so you can always use it for fictional positioning later. You just can't use it for a roll. Okay. Okay. All right. So for this, and I'm assuming you covered your ears, Val, so you're not susceptible to this. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps as you turn the box on, or like you open up the box so the music starts playing, Cyrus does notice the title on it, but then realizes it's like, oh, that's odd. That doesn't sound anything like, and then his voice drifts off as the vision, whatever vision he starts seeing is like starts to wash over him. And Portia gets this really dazed look on her face, Val. And, Periwinkle again was kind of attending to both of them. And then they start kind of coming together in some kind of weird, like, tableau themselves. And maybe they'll join hands and then do some kind of dance or something of like hearing or seeing something that you don't see. All right, so let me give you a clue first, and then I will complicate your lives. Where is this thing? Okay. Oh God, what have I given you so far? All right, so what are you searching exactly while they're, otherwise occupied?
I think I'd like to try and just examine the camera.
Okay.
I don't know about Treasure.
Yeah, and I think Treasure maybe would, maybe he is blending or inserting himself into their little tableau, huddle, whatever, to kind of search their persons to see if there's any incriminating or useful materials or notes or anything.
Yeah. Val, I would like you to make a info move with advantage as well, also with sensitivity. Your advantage is the fact that oh my God, Treasure has distracted them. Holy shit. Oh, great job, Mark. I'm just giving you stars right now.
With advantage, that's 11.
Nice. Okay. All right. Okay, but you're going to be looking at the camera itself, yeah?
Yeah.
And then Kemuel's going to be oh my God. Treasure is going to be pickpocketing them. Okay. Oh, okay. So many things I want you to find, but this one actually makes sense. Portia had not come out of her particular outfit from the American West room. I mean, I think Cyrus started taking off his garb, as soon as you started changing Treasure. So it is what it is. But I mean, for her, in her duster pocket, you find the script for a play you've never heard of, Ecstasies of the Pythia. That's what you find on Portia's pocket. And then for Val, having examined this particular wet plate camera. Now, of course, your time traveling would enable you to, if you're of any particular interest for photography or whatever, maybe you've seen cameras upon cameras, who knows. What's strange about this one? It has the look of a regular wet plate camera, so that's not unusual. However, I think if you try to pop it open, you'll find that it will not open, for being able to insert the plates or whatever. What you'll find on the sides instead are 3 supporting quartz rods. It's almost like they're triangulating something, but you find 3 small quartz rods. And for treasure, for your 7, do I make this weird or mundane? Shit. I can't decide. All right. For treasure, I'm going to say that, as you're picking Portia's pocket, I think she catches you, but she's seeing, like, her eyes are very strange. Like, it's almost like the dance of the sugar plum fairy is, like, really, like, as the emerald orchid lozenges or whatever, like, give people, like, weird eyes or whatever. I think the dance of the sugar plum fairy are doing something strange to her sclera. Like, it's almost like adding glitter or something to the whites of her eyes, and she's looking at you, and she's separating from Periwinkle and Cyrus, who are dancing in this particular, like, circle dance or whatever, and she will actually clasp your hands, and let's just say that what she whispers in your ear is a proposition. And we're going to leave that there as I head back to Marybelle and try to figure out how to complicate their lives. With the 8 for the D move. Okay, you just killed one of the constables.
You know what? But I'm gonna use a mask.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get away with this.
Okay. All right. What mask are you using?
I will use a mask of the past.
Okay.
And I'll probably narrate that next time so I can think about it a little bit, because
That's fine.
I have some ideas.
No problem. Okay. So yeah, you don your childlike guise again, and everyone else has ignored you, and the body of the constable is, like, slumped on the floor where you left him, for sure.
Yeah, I think I sort of sneak out because I still look a little unimpressive. My hair is red. This is a very Irish area, so
Yeah.
I feel like I just sort of blend in with all the other kids running around.
Oh, absolutely.
That
Yeah,
aren't going to school. Apparently,
that
nobody goes to school.
Right. That brought you up to a 10, so you totally succeeded in getting away with it, for sure. You got a 9 for the info move. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, like, he was gonna give the hue and cry away, and that's why he got the day move. So no worries.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Daymond, you're at the public house. Yeah, he gave you the bouncer gave the skinny on, like, finding that bottle of moonshine with something strange in it. Probably like a floating organ of some sort. In there. Do you stay, or do you try to get anything else out of them?
I think I would stay for a bit. This is where Marybelle knows that I will be. So should something go wrong with the bobbies, I will be finding me will be easy enough.
Mhm.
Daymond doesn't frequently drink things harder than wine. I would imagine that he's probably getting just a little bit day drunk the moment. Just kind of slowly sipping on things that are a little bit too hard before he just kind of blurts out a question. What even is a murmur? Like, I know that they're whispers, but it's just such an odd name for a caroler. Just to the group at large, seeing if anyone...
Dead silent at your question, as if you had just, like, record scratched, like, the whole pub quiet. And they just look at you as you say that. And then they all raise their mugs and just start laughing at you. He wants to know what a mummer is. Oh, and slaps you on the back. You feel so many hard slaps on your back. It's like they're beating you up. It could be. Who knows? And then they're just kind of sloshing their drink as they all come to your table. And they're like, it's not a murmur, it's a mama. And it's a very tragic thing. Children are missing. How can you... Really? And then just like they're just kind of like all over you. But, you're seeing all these faces and all this like slosh drink, and yeah, just very, 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 very full of camaraderie right now. Oh my God. Yeah. So don't know if you want to try to get in or out of this mess. Whatever mess you are in. Sloshy, evidently. Sloshy drunk. And then back at the Society Obscura. Yeah, Val, you're looking at this camera and then like seeing these 3 small quartz rods, like, kind of securing the camera closed. No discernible way to get like the wet plates in. So that's already odd. And I think the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy music box is starting to wind down. I don't know if I can't remember if this is one of those things. It's like, it doesn't shut off until you actually shut the box off, or if it's just kind of like a thing where you just have to continually open and close the box to get it to loop back. So
It's winding up like a clockwork mechanism, right?
don't know. I mean, considering that like Kemuel's treasure's just been propositioned, I mean, like, we can make it either way. So
I think if there's time before it winds down, I think I would like to try and take a photograph of the 2 of them dancing together with the camera.
Yes, please. Well, no, actually, night move. This is dangerous. You have no fucking clue what you're doing. Night move with sensitivity. Yeah. Night move with sensitivity. Do you have anything that you want to use in your personal quarters?
8-track isn't going to help.
No, it's not.
I'm not seeing anything I can apply there, no. And what am I afraid is going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, what are you afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I think I'm doing this to try and see if there's anything unusual about the operation of the camera, and what I don't want to happen is anyone to get hurt or anything bad to happen to anyone, but the fact that it might is why I'm pointing at the Abernethys. Let's see.
Wait.
Unless you-
Wait. Your point. Okay, so it's Cyrus Abernathy and Periwinkle dancing together, and it's Portia Abernathy and Treasure dancing together.
Oh, I'm pointing at Cyrus and Periwinkle.
Okay.
8.
Oh, okay.
6 and a 1 on the dice and 1 sensitivity.
Okay. All right. So, on an 8. You succeed in taking something. Like you know enough about this that you're able to take some kind of picture, image, like the rudiments of working this camera. But you hear a distinct sound. It is a whir, a click, some kind of like mini implosion. It's like all these sounds like wrapped up into one as you take this picture. And when you aim it at them, it's almost as if they sensed something happening, because they immediately part and look at you. They stop dancing and then they look at you, at the camera. And Cyrus will go, "What have you done? What have you done?" And he starts looking at his hands and himself. And the way that Penelope Levy was like kind of like in 3D, I mean, he starts going flat. He and Periwinkle start flattening out and going sepia, like losing color. What have you done? What's happening? What's happening to us? Portia! Portia! And yeah, Portia wakes up from like nuzzling Treasure's ear and, realizes, Cyrus? Cyrus! What's happening? And yeah, I mean, as you watch, Val, I mean, they're flattening out, they're going sepia, and I think it'll be where, oh God, I can't even think of the effect. It's like, they start losing dimension, and then like it's almost as if their image turns and then they go out of existence because they've gone flat and just kind of shift out of this particular reality. And Portia's screaming, "What happened? What have you done? What have you done? Oh, Cyrus, Periwinkle."
I think the question is, what were you intending to do to Mr. Robel?
We were going to activate the ritual. There's a ritual to this. You did not use the ritual.
To what end?
To immortalize it. Immortalize him, of course. Just like we've done with the others. Forever. Forever in the photograph. Cyrus. And she collapses on the ground, sobbing.
And
Well,
so what has happened to him? To them?
I don't know. There's no photograph. They've disappeared.
Now, Portia. You needn't trouble yourself. We will consult the renowned and remarkable Daymond Gray. And we are quite certain that he will be able to resolve this situation forthwith, with your cooperation, of course.
whatever can be done. Can Cyrus and Periwinkle be recovered? Anything at all. Oh my gosh.
Perhaps you had best start by telling us what you know about the operation of this camera and where Cyrus and Periwinkle could have gone to.
There is a ritual. Cyrus knew it. I sort of know it, but only when I have the visions come upon me. And they bring the immortalized to the fragrant void. We serve the fragrant void. Cyrus.
You are still speaking in riddles, madam. What is the fragrant void? And what about it do you serve?
Portia's eyes as she kneels there, sobbing, and she hears your words. It's like her spine suddenly snaps straight as she's kneeling, and her eyes will suddenly roll back into her head, and her arms will fan out as she raises her pupilless face to you, Val, and intone, "The fragrant void is beyond us, and we serve that which rules. You will also see the fragrant void when you are also immortalized in the camera. Come. Come. Come see us in the void." And she collapses at your feet. And that's where we're going to leave you for this evening. Stars and wishes.
I gotta give a huge star to Mark for Treasure being Kemuel. It was so good.
So
Treasure being
good.
Kemuel, especially the part where you were like, the amazing Daymond Gray. It was perfect. It was so good. I also really, really loved your mask, your mummer's mask. I put in my notes, this like trophy wolf. Feels like a trophy game. It was really good. Jeremy, the way you cleared your scars forever. I can't remember what the actual thing was, but the vulnerable move itself, like you and Rob, that was awesome. It was such a good vulnerable move. But I really liked using sort of the idea of time travel and being cool with it, but also sort of off from it, seeing it, being played out through Val's eyes, as a way to clear scars forever. I thought that was really, really clever. That was really well done. And Rob, I mean, likewise the same. The vulnerable move was just really, really good. And I liked all the scenes with Val and Treasure. There's such an interesting dynamic, especially when Treasure switched over to being Kemuel, and how Val was sort of playing along, but also sort of like, okay, take it down a notch. Okay, bump it up a notch, like kind of coaching like coaching Treasure on how to be Kemuel. It was really, really fun. Mads, the complication of Cyrus and Periwinkle getting Paper Mario'd was just great. That's such a good complication. The way you described it was a lot of fun, and now I'm even more excited to go to the Fragrant Void when we all become 2D, because I'm sure it'll happen that way. And then just like in Paper Mario, except I'm mixing up Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion in my head, but that's okay because I feel like it's gonna be like that anyway. So I'm very excited. Yeah, this was just a lot of fun. It feels like things are really kicking up a notch in terms of what's happening, the drama. I guess I just wish that we had more time.
Yeah, I have a number of stars. I think I really enjoyed Marybelle dealing with the policeman in a very direct way. That felt pretty appropriate, and the use of a mask to get away with it is nice. It's intriguing to see where that may lead in terms of like, oh, someone came into the police station and like murdered a policeman. Is that going to have any implications for what's going on in Seven Dials? I really enjoyed the vulnerable scene with Daymond. That was great, and I think kind of, yeah, Daymond got Val to open up more than anyone else ever has, and it was nice to be able to tie in the question about the background with the mask that I'd just done at the beginning of the session. And yeah, I really enjoyed Treasure impersonating Kemuel. Just hearing that voice again was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be fun. And yeah, how are we gonna translate any of what went on into a solution for that mystery is a whole other matter, but we will see.
Rob, giant, sparkling, flashing star for deciding in that moment to use the Whately camera to take a picture of them. That was awesome, and it led to so much amazing stuff. Really fun. And Mads, yeah, I want to echo that description of what happened to them was so cool and so vivid, tying back into what we had established earlier, but then like adding some extra twists that really made it creepy and very visceral and visual. Amanda, I adored Marybelle acting like the scared child. And it was really revelatory that they were able to do that. I don't think that's something we'd quite seen before, them being that convincing. So that was really fun. And then the quick turn to just like terrifying and like dangerous was so fun to see too. Jeremy, day drunk Daymond is the best Daymond. I also really like that little moment of revelation that that Daymond banished Kemuel, at least in part, to see if he could. And the whole who among us hasn't committed a murder or two, played so nicely later with Marybelle committing a murder. And I think my wish is to see more of Marybelle like in action. Because that was so cool, but I had this vision. I mean, I think it was a really great use of the mask to have her get away clean, or have them get away clean. But I had this, and stuff started to pop off of like a constable just flying out the windows of the police station in every direction. So very, very fun.
So many of the things I wanted to start have been said, so ditto and echoing everything. But Amanda, at the very beginning, with Marybelle and Treasure together, the way that you went from describing the room to, on basically the drop of a pin, switching over to accusing Treasure of just kind of existing, it was just such a great moment of the vitriol almost seems like too strong of a word, but the loathing that you have towards treasure. And it just in that moment of, yes, this scene, description, stage direction, hate was so good. Mark, your portrayal of Kemuel was 100% a caricature of the character. It was just close enough that we all immediately got that familiarity with Kemuel, but you went you had creepier highs and more subdued lows that I don't think Kemuel would ever have gotten to. And it really felt like Treasure was underneath piloting the Kemuel suit. Rob, so many things that you did were beautiful, but thank you for opening up. It was nice to find out just a little bit more about the love triangle that's slowly becoming a love line, which is a bizarre metaphor that we're just going to run with. And it was nice hearing Val's just thoughts on why they don't work with Isabel or why they can't work. And Matt's delightful as always. The range of voices that you pulled from absolutely terrified, love-drunk camera operators to police officers to drunken bar patrons. It was Mads through and through, delightful and wonderful. And a simple wish, just a small vulnerable scene between Prince Rupert 1 and 2. Just the two of them.
I'm myself am very excited for the buddy comedy that is the Prince Rupert's. The Prince's Rupert.
Could be, could be. Oh my gosh. Um, so many great scenes today. I mean, not just the vulnerable scenes, but like the questions that cropped up afterwards, the way things were organically coming out of them. I mean, like, I totally appreciated, Marybelle's, like, just disdain for Treasure, even though, like, they profess not to have any emotion or anything like that. There is disdain there, like, no respect. But then, like, also, like, being, like, open enough to, like, listen to them and then just try to, offer up something, like commiserating as another member of Hargrave House instead of, like, treating them like complete and utter, like dirt. But then, you know, um, just answering their question about uh, aspirations and goals later was really great. Um, and like coming from a place of like honestly thinking about it rather than just kind of like dismissing Treasure as a non-entity, which again was like really really valuable to see. And I think regardless of what Marybelle thinks, I think Marybelle is being a little bit more humanized as we watch, and then Daymond and Val. I mean, like again, not only was the vulnerable scene really awesome because you guys were commiserating over the whole idea of like bringing pain to the people that you're with or could possibly be with. I mean, which I thought was like amazing. Like just like oh my god, it's something in common. But also the question of which lifetime was your favorite, and then like having Val do the reveal of when they had family. I'm like, oh my God, this is like so heartbreaking. Goddamn. And then the further question about like, do you want to talk to them? Oh no. I'm just like, ah. Ooh, I don't even want to know if that's gonna happen or not, but like that would be sort of a wish of like me messing that up. But anyway. And then like, the scenes of like at your respective like, places of investigation. I mean, like, all the fun things that had happened and then just like all the complications therein. I mean, it was great. And yeah, the way you guys came out of it was really cool. And then yeah, the Val and Treasure show was like it was really awesome. And I gave you stars in the middle of this, Mark, for again bringing us back to, oh yeah, that was Kemuel, and this was even more. I don't know why, but it was even more creepy because Treasure was trying to imitate, a mere shadow of what they remember, of what he remembers Kemuel being, and it was somehow even more horrifying than the original. I don't know why, but it was. And it was, kudos to you for bringing us back to that voice. Oh my God, amazing. So yeah, wishes. Yeah, we'll see. You guys are very, very close. I mean, seven clues. So get one or two more or whatever, and then you can totally see what you want to see for a night phase. I mean, but again, I want to make Whately. Yeah, I want to make The Fragrant Void its own episode, because shit's gonna come out come out of that. And then Seven Members of Seven Dials. I mean, like, just build it up and then see how you want to answer that question. I mean, 3 clues, 6 complexity, and possibly the bonus question or whatever. So, yeah. I mean, I'm always impressed by you guys every single time. And it just happens to be that you're investigating threats. I mean, like, just the personal stuff that you're dealing with. I enjoy watching. Hey, I'm here for the personal drama. Never mind the threats. It's okay. There's a mastermind. Who cares? It's fine. I just want to see these characters. These characters and their arcs. Ooh. Wow. So, trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to go over. Yeah, so we're just waiting for Marybelle's Mask of the Past next time. And then continuing on with Day Phase, and then seeing what you want to do, getting ready for a dusk, or we'll see. We will see. We're so close. And I don't know what this is going to look like. You guys are making it even more complicated now. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, God. Yeah, we are threats to ourselves. Yes, you are. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, I love it. I've been loving it, and you guys are just fantastic. So keep on doing what you're doing. That's all I wish. I mean, you're just drawing out the story, and that's all I'm doing. Although, okay, a mini stinger. All right. At the Teatro dell'Arte, the hooded figure is moving their fingers around, and she will take down her hood, and we see that the camera will pan and see that passing resemblance to Daymond Gray, especially in the eyes. And she will go and stride to a back room of the teatro, a dressing room of sorts, and she will go find someone who is hiding, cowering there. So, you have decided to join our ranks. But how do I know that you will not betray us to your former colleagues, your housemates, however you'd want to term it. How do I know that you are not here to be a mere foil for our plans? And we just don't see this person. We hear them murmur, and we see them hold up something. We see them hold up a book. And the book glimmers blue and silver in the dim light of the teatro. And we don't see anything more, but we do see on the binding, or not the binding, I don't know what it's called, the pages, the edging of the pages of this book, like ink start to stain and seep to the edges of this blue and silver book. And we cut to black. So, until next time, you guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming, and yeah, yell at me later. It's fine. See you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.